Hello and welcome to this look at how to do a shapes of molecules question. So what I'm going to try and do is take you through shape theory and then look at how to apply it. We'll look at a few worked examples and then I'll give you a couple to do at the end of the video. So to make this video work most effectively, from time to time I'll ask you to pause and try something. So you need to look out for this box that says pause the clip here and come back later. You'd also need to have your pen and paper, and also you might wish to have your shapes of molecules notes to hand as well, and so you can use them as we go through it. So let's start with the shape theory. It's sometimes known as VSEPR, or valence shell electron pair repulsion. So a valence shell is basically an electron that's in the outer shell of the atom. We're not interested in the inner shell electrons because they don't get involved in reactions. So the first thing to say is that electron pairs repel each other. The second thing to say is that lone pairs repel more strongly, and the consequence of that is the molecule will adopt the shape of least repulsion. So in essence, this governs what shape a molecule takes on. So for the OCR chemistry A specification, you need to know these: the number of bonding pairs, number of lone pairs, the name of the shape that goes with that, and the bond angle. And it's also good to have an example molecule to line up with that as well. So you can get this from your textbook. So you need to do a flashcard for each of those. Here's an example of one. So you've got the name of the shape, a drawing of the molecule, a bond pair and lone pair of electrons count, and the bond angle that goes with it. So not just a linear flashcard, one for all the others as well. Now you may wish to do a summary sheet of all of those too. I'll give you an example of one here. So at the bottom you've got V-shaped or bent. It's sometimes called nonlinear as well. Now these are the three-dimensional structures. Now obviously you can see for linear this time round it's used BeCl2. You could have just as easily used carbon dioxide from the last slide if you wanted to. Now it's important that you have a three-dimensional diagram because you'll be asked for that from time to time in shape questions. So the way you do these is you have the wedge and the dotted line next to each other, and then over here you've got the solid line. So it doesn't really matter which way round the molecule you put them, as long as these two are next to each other. That's what's important. They don't have this one in between them. So let's have a look at how to work it through. You start by identifying the central atom in the molecule. Obviously a dot cross diagram can help you with that, so you can use that skill from GCSE and transfer it across to this. You count up the lone pairs and the bond pairs in that central atom, and using your knowledge of the shapes that we've just covered a moment ago, there'll be some recall and memorization at first before you start. Apply the appropriate shape and bond angle. So I've got some dot cross diagrams here. I'm going to take you through the water one and then get you to have a think about the other two. So there's two lone pairs on the oxygen, which is the central atom in water. There's two bond pairs also. So from memory you would need to link that to the shape called nonlinear, or V-shaped or bent, and the bond angle 104.5 degrees. So I'm going to get you to pause for a second and see if you can do those two steps for NH3 and CH4. Okay, I'm assuming you stopped the video for a little bit there and had a go at them. So welcome back. There's one lone pair and three bond pairs on the nitrogen. So that goes with the word pyramidal and 107 degrees. Then you've got 0 lone pairs and 4 bond pairs on methane, which goes with tetrahedral and 109.5 degrees. So let's have a look at an example exam question. So again, have a look at the shape theory. Those are the three things you need to incorporate into your answer. So here's a 4-mark question. So pause the clip, come back in a moment when you've had a go at this. Okay, welcome back. Let's have a quick look at the mark scheme. So the two bond angles that you need are 180 for CO2 and 104.5 for H2O. Both of those required for mark number 1. So carbon dioxide has two double bonds or two bonding regions. You could probably get away with saying two bonding pairs, but it's better to call it bonding regions because obviously in a double bond you have two pairs of electrons, don't you, in a double covalent bond. H2O has two bonded pairs and two lone pairs, and the lone pairs repel more than the bonding pairs. So you can see we're using the shape theory we talked about a couple of minutes ago. There's normally a little bit of flexibility on the actual bond angles, but you can't stray too far away from your actual bond angles, so it's best to remember those off by heart, or otherwise you risk maybe getting a bit too far one side or the other of the correct number. Now, one thing that's quite important is you mustn't use the idea of atoms repelling because it's the electron pairs that repel. That's pretty much set in stone. So don't start using the idea of atoms repelling. Even though visualizing it with the bonds repelling, the atoms on the end of them might actually also move apart. But it's not that the atoms are repelling each other, it's the electron pairs in the bonds that are doing the repelling. Let's look at the next exam question. So, this time round, they've given you the dot cross diagram. So again, focus on the central phosphorus atom. Pause the clip and give this one a go. Okay, I'm assuming you've hit the pause button for a couple of minutes there and had a go at this. Welcome back. So obviously on the phosphorus you've got three bond pairs, one there, and one there, and one lone pair over here. So that should lead to trigonal pyramidal. Now the things that need to be included in your answer, I would say, are in pink. I wouldn't worry massively about this idea of taking on a tetrahedral arrangement, giving a pyramidal shape overall. I was looking at lots of different mark schemes and it seems to be fairly unique to this one particular question. So I would stick with the shape, the bond pair and lone pair count, and the idea of electron pair repulsion theory. So let's do another one. So here we're going to focus on the CO double bond as a single bonding region. If you remember, the mark scheme for the CO2 molecule a bit earlier talked about two bonding regions. So the C double bond O is going to be a single bonding region. So this has three bond pairs, no lone pairs, so this will be trigonal planar. Now they want a dot cross diagram of a phosgene molecule. So pause the clip and see if you can finish it off. Okay, welcome back again. Let's have a look at the mark scheme for this one. So there's your dot cross diagram. The chlorine has to have 6 non-bonded electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this chlorine, and the one above it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oxygen has 4 non-bonded electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's important to remember those because quite often people forget to put them in. You can see on the examiner's comments, omission of the O and Cl lone pairs was the most common error. It's because people are just getting fixated on the central atom, which is important, but obviously to draw a dot cross diagram, you've got to include all the outer shell electrons. So that means these ones as well, around the outside of the chlorines and the oxygen. So their shape is trigonal planar, like we said, 3 bonding regions, and no lone pairs. So the electron pair repulsion, you can put that in anywhere. You can say it several ways as well. Bonds repel, electron pairs move as far apart as possible, or electron pairs repel. And these are the things that are allowed or told, the examiners are told to ignore. Now, we haven't talked about sigma bonds in this particular video. That is more to do with carbon-carbon double bonds, is where that's introduced on the course. So I'm not going to go into what sigma bonds are here, but that's covered at a later point in the course when we do alkenes normally. So now you have a go. So we've done a few examples. You've started to see a kind of sort of theme about what they're looking for. These are going to be a bit harder. So remember, draw your dot cross diagram first. Look at the central atom and match the lone pair and bond pair combination in this central atom to the shape bond angle from your flashcards or summary sheet. Now remember, you need to make sure you've committed this summary sheet to memory first. So if you haven't done that, maybe pause the clip and come back to it in a little while when you've had a go at memorizing the parts of that you might not be able to remember at this second. So this first one introduces hydrazine. So hydrazine is not something that we'd expect you to have heard of before. It happens to be used as a rocket fuel. And it says hydrazine can be prepared from the reaction of ammonia with sodium chlorate 1. So let's do a pause again and see how far you can get with this one. Okay, welcome back. Let's have a look at how we might process it. You're looking at ammonia with sodium chlorate 1. So remembering your redox, sodium chlorate 1 would have chlorine in the +1 oxidation state. So it would be NaClO. Now they want two other products. So the first thing to look at is you've got two nitrogen atoms in hydrazine and only one nitrogen atom on the left-hand side. So obviously you've got to double the ammonias on the left-hand side. So now we've got 6 hydrogen atoms and only and 4 hydrogen atoms here. So we have an imbalance of hydrogen. So therefore one of our products must be water. So that uses up the O in NaClO, which leaves NaCl as the obvious final product, like that. Now electron pair repulsion theory is obviously going to be what we looked at a bit earlier on this video. You want a 3D diagram. So remember, that's your wedges and dotted lines. So there you go. And we also need to put in our lone pair on each of the nitrogens, which now means going back to our summary sheet and just the row that deals with trigonal pyramidal, I beg your pardon, you've got your 3 bond pairs. So that'll be this bond, and this bond for this nitrogen. And for this nitrogen here again, you count this bond again, 1, 2, 3 of them, and 1 lone pair. So it must be trigonal pyramid, 107 degrees. So the commonality with what you might have learned from your summary sheet is that hydrazine is pretty much like ammonia, except instead of one of the hydrogens, we've got this NH2 group over here. So that gives us 107 degrees. So a quick check of our mark scheme, and we can see quite easily what we've managed to score. Okay, so this next question is about two compounds you might not have come across, NF3 and BF3. They tell you they've got different shapes and bond angles. So they want you to predict the shapes and bond angles in both those molecules. So like before we said, let's start with a dot cross diagram. So with NF3, you can see that you've got 3 bond pairs, 1 lone pair. That's going to be pyramidal, 107 degrees. With BF3, we've got no lone pairs, 3 bond pairs. That would be trigonal planar, 120 degrees. then they want you to explain why they have different shapes. So what you do is in your answer space, you talk about the thinking you put into deciding on 107 and deciding on 120. In other words, your 0 lone pairs, your 3 bond pairs for BF3, your 1 lone pair and your 3 bond pairs for NF3, and then a little bit about the electron pair repulsion theory. So checking the mark scheme, that's exactly what they're after. Okay, hopefully this has been a useful, slightly extended look / exercise on how to do shape questions. The thing to do now would be to go back and maybe make a note of anything you've now picked up that you're going to go and try and do next time you do a shape question. Okay, as always, thanks for listening. Until next time, see you soon.